Hello there. Over the past week, there was a very disturbing type of attitude on the part of some of the supporters or maybe some of the management of the Manchester City team. And it brings you to wonder exactly what do they expect from a coach, particularly one of the caliber of Guardiola. He had 3 games in about 8 days. It was not easy. He had to make choices. That would not have been easy either, simply because of the fact that he's well in the lead for the EPL, but he wants to keep going there. He knows that every time he goes onto the field in an EPL match, he's going to get a tough time. But at the same time, he's got to speculate. He's got the Champions League. He wants to get some of the young players into the team. I have no problems with it. I may have a problem with the manner in which it was dealt, and in particular situations, it did not look as effective as what the Manchester City team looks like. But this is what managers are about. This is why they study so hard. And I have looked at Pep Guardiola for the past 2 years, and by gosh, he's a wonderful thinker of the game. Sometimes when he uses some of the players who are not well known to the EPL just yet, you can look at people like Cancelo and Rodrigo, and then of course Laporte you have. Mendy's been in and out, but you can't put them all in a team. When you put them all in a team, the core of that team will be weakened somewhat. Are you going to go off onto the field without Walker? Is that a sensible thing to do? Or Fernandinho, or Silva, or Gandewan, or Sterling? I'm talking about all these players who weren't on the field. And they had to come up against some good teams. Fulham gave them a run. I thought Fulham was doing a wonderful job simply because Fulham was destroying the fabric in the kind of game that Manchester City was playing 2 matches before. When they went to win the ball in the game against Southampton and one of the previous games, you had seen a complete example of what good defensive play was all about, and how quickly they can get the ball back, and what part of the field they can get it back. And as soon as they get it back, they spread the fields to leave openings for their players to play. They were wonderful. But that's when you had in the middle of the field De Bruyne, you had Fernandinho, you had Bernardo. Those players are crafty players, and those players have turned themselves into be good defensive midfield players. So you had strength in the front with Sterling and Mahrez. You had them, and then you had Jesus. But yet still the fans were disappointed when he did not put all the top players on the field all the time. He was in search of trying to expose them. Is he wrong about that? He's paid loads of money for it. They were not very happy about the Manchester United game. And in a way, I understood them. I'm not understanding that they got defeat. I'm understanding them from the point that it's always difficult. You are 10, 12 points away, and this is an opponent that's coming with that distance behind. And they're coming there. It's a derby, and they're coming with everything. And all of a sudden you decide there was a little bit of lethargy in the first few minutes. There was a penalty and they went 1-0. And they did not settle down. The midfielders did not make an effort to win the ball. So they had the 4 defenders as defending players all the time. If they got dribbled, it was the goalkeepers to catch. We have seen in the past with Fernando, and we have seen with Bruyne and Bernardo. They were winning the ball because the strikers were closing down from one side and they on the other side, and they were winning the ball in center field, and they did well. They did not do it in that game. It was not well done in that game. And they thought of, we are leading a number of points. Manchester United is anxious to get them, and it just did not roll for them. They did better in the second half, but not good enough to win the game. I'm not decrying Manchester United. They tried their best and they know they're in second, but a long way second. So, my friends, don't get to them, because they're off the field. You're hearing things about Sterling and not having given the respect of the manager. These things are false a lot of times. They can get annoyed. They're outside of their normal faculties when they play a soccer match. It's a tough time. It gets onto the mind psychologically. And yet still, I believe that Guardiola has learnt lessons from that, and he can deal with it. So don't run into the social media and talk about to want to go, or this one, that one, the other one. No. Guardiola knows what he's about, and I admire him. And he is keeping in front. And he brought back into one game Aguero. I was happy about that. I was wondering to what extent that you would want to lead him on the bench if he's going to play in the Champions League in about 2 or 3 weeks. So all these things matter. Please, Manchester City has lined a group of men for 2 or 3 years, and I have to say that he's done it wonderfully well. There is a little bit of stability, and he improves players. Cancelo didn't come into that team as he's playing now. He was a useful player, but he was not in concert with the other players. He's doing a lot better now. Look at Foden. You want a better attacking player than that? You've already got Sterling, you've already got Mahrez, you've already got Jesus. But he comes in and he fights his place in and he scores goals. So it's a lot that Guardiola has got to think about. And by heavens, I'm pretty satisfied that he's doing the job. Okay, so Manchester United, they played well enough to win. I'm going for that. I know the sacrifices. I know the psychological thinking of the players. We are ahead by so many points. It'll always stick with them. They're not understanding that the opposition is coming at them at all times. So let's see the reorganization after the 3 weeks when they come back to the EPL, and let's see how the coach goes on with his players as they go on the next time around. But so far, Coach Guardiola, I'm comfortable. I hope the fans are.